And the question for this week is, would you recommend tampons or towels when girls start her period? Excellent question. And this question comes directly from a group of parents who I met before doing the relationship and sexuality education for their 11 and 12-year-olds in primary school. And welcome back to another episode of Sitting in a Car. I'm Sarah Sproul, and I'm sitting here in a car with you each week answering a question to help you raise your confident and caring young person who respects themselves and the people around them. And so, this question, tampons or towels, it's an interesting question. I met with a organic period supplies person a few months ago, and she was saying how it's very interesting how each country has its different sort of values and different expectations about how we manage periods. And she was saying how, particularly in Ireland, tampon use is very, very low compared to other countries. And I'm not sure why that is. But when I go into national schools and I'm doing the girls' circle and we all sit in a circle, those of us who are going to have periods or already have periods, and we talk about period management, the girls, we look at tampons, we look at pads, we look at menstrual cups, and we look at period underwear. So those things you can be put in the washing machine. And then there are other things like reusable pads made of cloth that can also be washed. And so we look at that because this issue is about any consumer decision that we make. Like, what do we want our impact to be on the planet? What is our budget? What do we feel comfortable putting next to our body? What do we think is the safest thing? What do we think is the most comfortable thing? And each young person will have a different view on what is going to work for them. Now, when I talk about tampons to 11 and 12-year-olds, usually I will say, these take a bit of practice. Also, if you leave them in too long, you can get sick. So as a general rule, adults recommend that you use some sort of period system that is outside your body. But absolutely, I have known some young people who use tampons from the very beginning of their period. They're really comfortable with their body. They're responsible. They're not going to forget to put a tampon in. So it depends on the abilities of the person who is menstruating. Here's the thing, though. Oftentimes I will say to the children that are in this circle where we're talking about menstruation, I'll say, look, if you're going to use a tampon, what is one of the things you will have to know how to do first? And people will say unwrap it, and yes, that's true. But I say the other thing is finding your vaginal opening. If you don't feel comfortable having a feel around and finding your vaginal opening, then tampons are not for you. Menstrual cups are not for you. You need to look at something external. So when we're talking about this sort of question to do whether we recommend tampons or towels, it really does depend on the abilities of the child that you are supporting on their menstrual journey. And everybody is different, right? So I think there is a lot of fear and uncertainty around tampon use, particularly in Ireland, which is where I live. But that doesn't mean that the young person that you are supporting through their journey of getting their period would not benefit from using them. And you really have to be guided by your child, as well as you're the adult at the end of the day, and you need to be sure that they are going to be really safe. And so keep those two things in mind when you're talking about period management with your child. What abilities and information do they already have? How comfortable do they feel with their body? And you want to keep them safe, so how does that impact on what you would prefer that they do? But make sure it's a dialogue, because anytime we have a conversation, we are being quite didactic or quite lecturing with our child. It's a lost opportunity to create this sense of we are in this together. I'm supporting you to learn more about yourself as you become an adult. And when you can start developing that I am supporting you to become an adult philosophy, it is going to hold you in really good stead the older they get, because that is the thing that is going to keep them coming back to you. When they feel supported rather than lectured to, they're going to come back to you with more questions and more concerns and more issues about their life, because their life is going to get more complex. And that's Sitting in a Car, where I've answered a question to help you raise your confident and caring young person who respects themselves and the people around them. Bye for now.